interesting in that match yesterday.
It's interesting, too. Yeah, Ball State hit 411. Stanford hit 258. One of the sets Stanford lost, they led 17-12 in the set. They were 15 all in the third, and the wheels kind of came off as Ball State, number 5 team in the country, 3-time defending champions in the regular season in the MIVA, were able to defeat Stanford for the first time since 1997. As the Cardinal, one of their bright spots yesterday, Moses Wagner, 14 kills. He'll go back to serve. Teo Snui will be at the outside with Moses Wagner as the opposite. Evan Porter, the free substituting libero. Gray Mandelbaum, Kamana Carrera are the 2 middles. Dan Burriette, 37 assists yesterday. He's the 6'3 setter. Kai Schmidt will come in as a service specialist, and then Nate Clinton is the other outside hitter for the Cardinal.
Another big swing there from Wagner. As you just talked about, led the team yesterday in the match against the Cardinals. And it's fun to say the Cardinals versus the Cardinal.
And Nia will be handling that. I will not be saying that ever during this match. I'll get too confused. No, but for Ball State, they're number 5 team in the country. They were number 1 seed in the MIVA last year. That one's deep.
And let's talk a little bit about the serves yesterday. Stanford. That's always been the big thing. They're going against a team that is, both teams have a lot of size on them, but Ball State, I think you guys talked about that a little bit yesterday during the match and the difference in size here with their players, especially the pin hitters on Ball State and what Stanford's having to go up against and swing against on the block there.
The ace from Patrick Rogers hit 409 yesterday. Honorable mention All-American. Rest of the lineup, Vanis Buchholz, Bray Savitsky Lind, and then Mr. T, Tadashi Andovacheva, who is second-team All-American last year. Lucas Pitlak and Cameron Gray will be the 2 liberos. Lucas Machado, the excellent setter from Brazil, and then Raya Aline, who had 15 kills, led the Cardinals, hitting 483 yesterday. Honorable mention All-American. 3 serving 2 here in the first. Nice deep serve from Clinton. Back set, Rogers from the pipe.
That was a great swing there from Rogers. And something else about this Ball State team, the athleticism you saw. He approached, obviously, from behind that 10-foot line. You cannot step on that line, and he swung almost as if he's hitting out of the middle in the front row.
It's interesting talking to John Costi before the match. He said Ball State, kind of just what Nia was talking about, they're mostly a pin-hitting team. The one time out of the middle will be to Rogers, but he said his team had to do a little bit better blocking-wise. 1 block in that first set, and that was it for Stanford in terms of the block. They didn't record another block for the rest of this match. A big reason why is that man, Mr. T, the man from Zimbabwe, Tanashi Andovacheva, who was a second-team All-American last year, and he just levitates up there.
Yeah, and I think yesterday you guys talked a little bit about a video that the team did on him, something with, making a dish from his home country that, was a really emotional moment for him. And I would love for you to talk a little bit more about that later on in this match.
Yeah, it was pretty cool for the man from Zimbabwe, now in Muncie, Indiana. Back to serve for the Cardinal. Kamara Carrera goes by Mana. Big-time recruits. This was his Division I debut yesterday. Had an ace and 4 kills. One of the things about Kamara and the other Stanford middle, Mandelbaum, they do serve it pretty tough for middles. Roger Aline, 6'6" opposite from Bridgetown, Barbados. Led the MIVA in points scored and kills last year for Quincy. Deep. 6'4" Cardinal in the first.
Both teams trying to put a lot of pressure on each other on the serve receive, but trading back some service errors here in the start of the match.
Darren Briette, Cardinal call him T. First year as the starter at setter, replacing the 5-year player, and Nathan Litsky. Had a great career at Stanford. Porter sets. Tough swing for Wagner. Kept alive. Second crack at it. Out left, Snui blocked.
And that block bounces off of him to still land in. Once again, talking about that big block there on Ball State, especially on the pins. They, really just get up over the net. Really athletic, and both teams really going at it. But Stanford going to have to figure out some other angles and some other ways to swing off of this team's block here.
And Zacheva, two-time All-American at Ball State. He started his career at Weber University, an NAI school in Florida. That's hit wide by the Cardinal through the middle, 6'6". And he's had such a journey. He went from Zimbabwe to Babson Park, Florida, at Weber International University, and transferred in 2023 as a sophomore, was honorable mention All-American. Last year, a second-team All-American. This is his senior year. And the double block. Rogers was there. Savitsky Lynn was there. And Teo Snui, who had 11 kills yesterday, but he also had 9 errors.
Yeah, and you can see there, Cardinal are trying to move him around and try to get him some different swings on different sides of the court, but Ball State have obviously scouted him very, very well, and they're doing a really good job clamping him early in the beginning of this set.
He's the number 1 outside hitter for Stanford, and he's going to get set a lot, and this is his junior year. Like right there, that was a tough set in. Aline off the antenna, and Cardinal stopped the bleeding with the point.
Aline, so athletic for Ball State there. Another one of their go-to hitters. Yesterday against Stanford.
Yeah, 15 kills and he had 483. Here's Teo Snui. Went to Head Royce School in Oakland. Grew up in Berkeley. Rogers off the block and down. Rogers had a monster match. Hit 11 kills for, you guessed it, a transfer from St. Francis Brooklyn. Was the NEC Freshman of the Year. Spent his sophomore year with Ball State. Honorable mention All-American, first team All-League in the MIVA. And this is his junior year from Rutherford, New Jersey. Through the middle.
He's also spent some time. He was selected for the USA Collegiate National Team and the Collegiate National Beach Team. So he's got a lot of experience under his belt for only being a junior outside hitter at Ball State currently.
They went into the middle that time. Did Stanford for Mandelbaum. LA native. Slices that one in there. Aline. Whoa.
Big swing there. Still dug over by Stanford. Let's see if they can get the touch on this one. Does that land in?
Yes.
Big block there out of the middle.
Well, Stanford with the triple block, and that was the big problem for the Cardinal.
Yeah, yesterday just talked about this as well. Stanford only had 1 block in the entire match. So to start off, already putting up some numbers on the block in this first set is really important. It shows they've talked about it. Like you said, that triple block there. They had to change some things and figure some things out so they can get more touches, more hands on the ball against Ball State.
Well, how about this? Ball State's hitting negative 300, 2 kills, 5 errors. Yesterday was such a clean played match. Stanford hit 258, and that number was mostly over 400. A bunch of blocks in the third set put that number down. Ball State hit over 400. Cardinal get the point, up 11-8.
And let's just talk about the defense on this side. Briette being there for that middle attack and able to get that ball up. That just changed the game in that play for Stanford. Those are the important ones. That is the gritty play that they're going to need to really face off with this Ball State team.
Ball State more experienced. They're higher ranked in the AVCA poll. They hadn't beaten Stanford since 1997, which was not a bad year for the Cardinal. Winning the national championship for the first time with John Costi as an assistant coach. The current head coach of Stanford in his 35th year at Stanford, 260 wins in his career. Clinton hit it deep and untouched. Stanford thought it was touched.
Yeah, that ball. I know he tried to go for it on that one, but definitely out. Still a smart shot, though. He knows what's in front of him, and I'm sure the next time he takes a big rip like that, he'll be able to score. But a little bit more about what you were talking about, the series matchup between Ball State and Stanford. Stanford is 11-1 with them. So to see this Ball State team come out and, as you said yesterday, a 3-0 sweep, it's a big deal for them coming into this series this year.
Watch out, Lucas Pitlack. He took that one. As Stanford and Ball State faced off last year in Austin, Texas at the first point challenge. And clean up some perspiration that might have flown off the shoulder, maybe the noggin of Pitlack. Stanford won that match in 4, but obviously it is a totally different Stanford team. It's 9 seniors that they lost from last year's team, including some fifth-year seniors. Stanford does not have a senior class because of 2021. That was supposed to be Stanford's final year having volleyball. They reinstituted the program, but they didn't sign anybody for 2021. So that one ended up being 2025 in terms of, and I think some blood came down. So that's why we have a little bit of a pause here.
Yeah, the Stanford team is just so young, and they talked a little bit with John Cossey about that too, and having to rebuild, as you said, from a team that had no seniors and also really no fifth years either, to bring a lot of experience to this team. And so we saw it in their matches last week against Saskatchewan. He really gave some of the other younger players a chance to go in and kind of shake things off a little bit, get used to being on the court, and he knows that he's working with a younger team, and they're going to need a lot of experience going into the rest of the season.
Here's Moses Wagner. 15 starts last year. Just a little bit deep. He switched his number from 14 to 11. Ryan Duras, the other player at Stanford, switched his number from 17 to 10. Ryan, Ignacio Brito, Kai Schmidt also played not in that starting lineup as service specialists yesterday. Deep on that serve. What's it like to face the same team twice in as many nights?
I think it's interesting because of the way that, you have to scout the team and knowing that you also kind of get a second chance, right? And that's kind of what we're seeing right now with the Stanford team. They are getting that do-over from yesterday. They're able to figure out the things that they made mistakes on, what they can improve, what they did really well, and what they can capitalize on. And we're seeing that right now already. And I find that really impressive. Only one day in between. They didn't even really have time off. They just played last night. And so to come back today and already be able to make these changes this quickly, it's very impressive. And we're seeing that here now. Ball State trying to figure out how to get back in their groove, especially coming off of yesterday's win.
Well, Ball State has 6 hitting errors in this match already. They had 5 all of yesterday in that 3-set sweep. So this is a much sharper Stanford defense, forcing a lot more errors from Ball State. Jump serve for Buchholz. That's a hard swing for Teo Snui.
Gets that one off the hands. Really, really smart choice there. So Stanford really making some good adjustments here in the first set.
Yeah, Teo kind of shrugged his shoulders. Maybe Stanford got away with that one. 15-11 at the media timeout, and we'll be back after this. With Nia Crittenton, Tim Swartz with you. And for Stanford, their defense has been much sharper. They've already forced 6 hitting errors against Ball State, and it was 5 all of last night. Miami native Ignacio Brito back to serve. Had a couple of nice serves last night. It's 6 subs in men's volleyball. It's basically 3 players in and out. Great serve from Brito. Nice pass by Rogers, and, well, it wasn't hit clean, but Savitsky Lynn puts it away.
I really like that serve from Brito. I know in the matches against Saskatchewan, John Cossey really let him stay in and try to work through the things that he's been learning, and he had some really hard moments where he really, really struggled to make any of his serves for the first 2 sets. And Costi just let him stay in, and by the end of that match, he had a few aces and did really, really well. So it's great to see him coming out and having a lot of confidence as he gets to that serving line in this match.
That's an ace. Aline snuck it in. Ooh, that one hit the line.
And that's just a tough one there from Stanford. Aline has a great serve, and their serve receive taking a step back, as you can see, closer to that inline now.
Linesman Matt Wong, Tyrone Toloy, Ray Mink, the down official. Kent Kincaid is the up official. Oh, goodness.
Off the chest there from Wagner. Cross court. That was a big swing.
Well, Wagner's playing opposite for Stanford this year, and Coach Costi telling me that you're kind of on an island at times. It's not an easy position to play, but he was really impressive last night with 14 kills.
And he's already hitting
the ace.
Wow, another ace. And Wagner, as you were just talking about, he's currently hitting 600 with 3 kills so far on the set.
Ball State's going to call timeout. They're hitting negative 188 as a team. Stanford leads 17-13 as they try to take a start to night 2 for Stanford, up 17-13 over the Cardinals of Ball State. Oh, into the net went Machado on the set. He did not agree with the Kent Kincaid, the up official's call.
Briette with a really, really powerful top spin jump serve here. For those watching that maybe are new to volleyball and don't know what a top spin jump serve is, you're going to watch him toss that ball up with a little bit of spin on that. Take a big swing.
Mr. T from the back row, dug out by Porter. Briette
Great
sets
big
left, the tip. Aline, double block.
And that one almost didn't clear the tape.
Mandelbaum and Snooey will get credit. Stanford, after a match with 1 block, has 2 tonight. And a nice run on Briette's serve.
Talking to each other, trying to strategize and figure out what is going on, what is off for them, and what they need to work on to try to salvage the rest of the set.
Another jump serve from Briette. Took a little bit off that one. Machado in system. Back set. Aline. That's his first kill of the match.
Mandelbaum a little frustrated. He knows he had that one. Just brought that shoulder a little bit off the net there when he got there for the block. You can see him. He's laughing with his teammates. It was so close to just being a stuff block on their side, but Aline finds space in that and scores.
Angela Cheva, the serve. Oh, what a nice set.
That hang time there from Mandelbaum. The set's just a little bit off. It was tight to the net, and Briette trying to get his hands around that one. Mandelbaum's up. He's ready. He's able to tip that one into the middle on the other side.
20 serving 14. No timeouts left for Ball State. Stanford can play up the string. Machado snuck it in.
Pitlack with an almost perfect pass there. And Machado taking that setter dump, trying to take control of the team right now and get a little bit more momentum on their side for the Cardinals.
See, Naya's got it down.
A little more emphasis on the S there, you know.
Ray Savitsky-Lynn to serve. And down the line from Nate Clinton. Didn't play at all last year. Sophomore from Pleasanton. Had 8 kills, hit 385. Had an excellent performance in his collegiate debut. Here's Kai Schmidt. Had back-to-back aces in the second set last night.
Kai Schmidt comes in as a DS for Stanford and plays really well back row. Also another one of their liberos, and comes in sometimes, you know, to put some pressure on the other team's serve receive. Doesn't quite work out that time.
Well, here's the start of the rotation for Ball State. This is a good rotation for them with Machado serving. Honorable mention All-American last year. Off the block, freshman All-American last year. Tips red, and then just total miscommunication from Ball State. Stanford gets a free point there.
And that was a tough one. That tip took Aline completely out of their offense on Ball State side, and he tries to take that ball as he's coming off of the net. And unfortunately passes that one really close to the net, not able to recover that one.
Moses Wagner was an All-American in high school. just down the road, Bellarmine College Prep in San Jose. Rogers from across the country in New Jersey. He puts it away. Ball State has to win a couple points here on Rogers' serve. They're down by 5 late into the set.
Rogers has been really impressive for Ball State. You can see they are able to set him anywhere on the floor.
Jump serve. Ace.
Really trying to rally his team now on that side for Ball State. And forces an ace. That's always a tough one. You're waiting for a really, really tough serve to come over the net, and it clips the top of the tape. Always hard to recover if no one's there.
Oh, John Costi and Stanford at the MPSF. Ball State out of the MIVA. The Cardinals of Ball State won the MIVA regular season the last 3 years, and Stanford was picked 6th in the MPSF. They've gone to 3 straight semifinals. They went to back-to-back finals in the MPSF tournaments, trying to get back there again. Rogers, nice serve. Clinton with a good first pass, and he puts it away as he just kind of slams it down. Big point for the Cardinal.
Really smart play there by Nate Clinton. Saw the block on Ball State. They had a seam there, not able to close on him. Briette gives him that really fast set to the outside, and he wasn't quite able to take a swing on that one, but he sees that open space and he takes it.
23 serving 18. That was a deep serve. Machado back set. Arlene
taking a big swing through the Stanford block there. You can kind of see a little bit of the frustration on their faces.
There's Pink, the substitute. Libero, 5'7", from Hawaii. Went to Punahou School. And talking to John Costi before the match, he told me the biggest thing is he wanted his team to play volleyball once they got to 20. Cardinal were in every single set last night, even though they got swept. And at 20, they just really struggled. Wagner. Oh, Rogers tried to kick it up. And for the first time this weekend, Stanford has a set point.
Davazovcheva tries to keep that ball alive. That's a tough one there.
Mana Carrera back to serve. 2 kills on the match. Stanford's hitting .364. Ball State, -42. And an ace ends the first set. Stanford takes a set for the first time this weekend, and they lead Ball State 1-0 after 1.
What a huge change for Stanford from yesterday to today. Obviously, they battled in the first 2 sets, got a little bit away from them in the 3rd set yesterday, and today they turn it around and they get a win.
.364, it's a good percentage. Not out of this world. But the defense was there for Stanford. Ball State hits -42. And Naya, you were really impressed with Stanford's front row defending.
Yeah, and as we just talked about, Stanford yesterday, they ended the match with 1 block only to Ball State's 6 blocks on the match. And now we see it's different. Both teams 2-2. And we see here that Stanford made a huge change on how they were defending and blocking the pin hitters. I think I talked about that. They didn't change the back row defense too much today. What they really worked on was the communication up at the net and how they were going to take away space from Ball State and their pins. They have really huge pins. Their guys are 6'7", 6'8". Stanford knows that. And I think you talked a little bit about the conversation with head coach John Costi about that. I want to hear a little bit more about that.
Yeah, Coach Costi before the weekend, as I spoke to him middle of the week about the season, and Ball State said they have great pin hitters and we've got to stop them. And talking to him before this game, the 2 main points of emphasis to his team: A, we got to stop the pin hitters, and B, we got to play volleyball once we hit 20, because yesterday Stanford a few times deep in that set were up. They were up 17-12 in one set. They went to a deuce set in the second. It was 15-15 in the third, but he was kind of a little frustrated that once the push came to shove, his team, he thought he needed to perform a little bit better deep in sets.
Yeah, and we can see, like I said, early on, Stanford made those adjustments today with that win in the first set. It was going very, very well for them. And again, starting off strong here in this second set. They've made a lot of different movements, getting their pins going. Teo Snowy there. The hit out of the back row.
And Snowy's such a physical player. That's his 2nd kill of the match. 4 for Wagner leads Stanford. It was 2 for Rogers and Aline for Ball State. Into the net. Serving wise, in that first set. Stanford had 2 aces, 5 errors. Ball State served really well. They had 3 aces and 3 errors. Rogers had a couple of aces. But the Cardinal block, it was just 2 blocks, but they forced a few Ball State hitting errors with their block. That's deep from Rogers. Yeah,
and it was interesting with Ball State. They did put a lot of pressure on that Stanford serve receive, but what they were struggling with was just scoring. And actually, Ball State had pretty decent passing and serve receive. They just could not put the ball away on the pins.
Well, what does that come down to, do you think, in this match at least?
Well, as I talked about Stanford adjusting their block, but also part of me wonders if maybe Ball State, some of their pins got into their heads a little bit when those initial swings weren't landing, which is what they were used to from yesterday, right? They were able to get up, they're really athletic, take big swings and score, and to start off the last set, not able to do that right away, had them change some tactics. You can see some mishits there, miscommunication with the pins and the setter. And as we can see, Stanford has been able to capitalize on that, and they're starting to do that again here right in the beginning of this second set.
The ball's come a little bit different off the hand of Wagner. I mean, he has got some juice on those ones.
He leads his Stanford team. A lot of fire, a lot of fight and energy.
And Coach Gosti said him and the Umbrette have taken on the leadership roles. Again, there are no seniors on this team because of circumstances with the program. Aline off of the antenna.
A lot of miscommunication going on this Ball State team. Machado trying to figure out how to get his hitters the set that they need so they can really go after and swing, take really big swings at Stanford, but just a little bit off here, as you can see there, with Aline trying to save that ball from going into the pin.
Aline puts it away.
Machado going right back to him to try to get him in rhythm, and it works.
How much did you like that when you were playing? If you missed a shot, your setter goes right back to you.
I always really enjoyed that because it lets you know that your setter trusts you. Your setter knows what you're capable of. They know what you can do. And sometimes everyone has off nights. Maybe it's the setter that's having an off night. Maybe it's you as the hitter. But knowing that person, that teammate trusts you and wants to get you back into the game and get you going again, you know, it helps with building up your confidence. It helps with building up your trust. And you can see that they have that connection there on the team, on Ball State.
Carrera there, his 3rd kill on 4 attempts. Stanford Middles have 5 kills on 8 attempts between Mandelbaum and Carrera.
And Carrera hitting at .750 on the night.
Jump serve from the big recruit Carrera. Hands. Middle attack. We haven't seen a ton of it from Savitsky Lin. That's just his second kill.
Yeah, Stanford wasn't quite ready for that one. You can see a little bit of that discussion on the court, but they're prepared now that Ball State is going to start getting their middles more involved in the offense here.
Aline, tough server, just deep.
That's the hard part with Ball State today, noticing they're really not able to get in a rhythm like they were yesterday. They just have a lot of errors, and it's not just, you know, from one person. As a team right now, the energy of the team is just a little bit off, and it's been hard for them to kind of get any run on points so far in this game.
Aline, that went off the head of a Cardinal player. Wagner kept it alive. Sent over free. Aline again. This time he puts it away.
And that one hitting the top of the tape, so that was kind of a hard off-speed shot for Stanford's defense to try to recover in that ball.
Yeah, Stanford really struggled with Ball State's offense yesterday. The Cardinals hit 411. Had just 5 errors. In the 3rd set, they hit 519 and didn't have any errors. They were rolling in that 3rd. Briette for Wagner. He went over the block.
What a huge swing for Wagner. He just jumped out of the gym on that one. A block in front of me? Who cares? I'll just hit over you and score.
That was always the best way, right? To score, but just jump over them and hit it really hard. Snooey, jump serve. That was a tough one. Nice take by Rogers, who puts it away. Whoa, goodness. Patrick Rogers unloaded on that one.
A lot of heat on that ball from him. I think I talked a little bit earlier. He's on the USA collegiate national team and the collegiate beach team. Brings a lot of experience to this Ball State team.
He started at St. Francis Brooklyn. He was the NEC Freshman of the Year and moved to Ball State. This is his 2nd year in Muncie, Indiana. Free ball over. Rogers puts it away.
And he does it again. He's now at 4 kills, 3 errors on the match. Really is a key part for this offense. Only a junior.
Well, State's starting to heat up. They're hitting 600 this set. Stanford's hitting 800. Defense optional here in the second.
That serve goes really long from Savitsky Lind. He'll come off the court.
I always find, I didn't play professional volleyball in Europe and Division I volleyball like Naya. I'm not a super athlete, but I always found it so interesting how key the toss is.
Oh, the key, the toss is everything. You can kind of see it sometimes, especially, I would say, even more so in men's volleyball, because there's so much like speed and firepower that they put on these topspin serves. You don't see topspin jump serves as often in women's volleyball. You'll see a lot more float serves, but in men's, they're putting so much into it, and so that toss is everything. You got to get your feet to the ball. Your approach has to be right, and especially want to make sure that you're not getting close to that line at the back of the court.
We did see a couple of foot faults yesterday, and none so far today. Oh, that's just wide for Machado. He was trying to will it in. Mandelbaum's the only Stanford player that will float it in there.
Yeah, and sometimes you'll see that too, even with some of the servers who do like, a topspin. They want to do an off-speed topspin, maybe a short ball. You have to kind of watch their feet and their approach to the ball to know whether it was intentional or not. Machado
into the middle. And there's Buchholz, who had 6 blocks yesterday. He was on fire in that third set.
Yeah, and Buchholz today, no blocks so far in the start of this match.
Haven't set him much. That's just his third swing of the match. Ooh, that one was going to go wide, I think. Stanford was yelling out. Instead, Wagner couldn't cut it.
I like that chance from Briette, though, trying to get that ball from all the way across the court, off of the court, all the way back to Wagner. And he really actually got his feet to that ball, was just way inside and still trying to take a big swing. But still an impressive play. They keep working on that one. I'm sure next time he'll score.
11-9, Stanford. Leading in the second, despite the fact that I had mentioned Ball State's playing awesome offense. 7 kills on 13 attempts, 538. Stanford's at 556.
Yeah, and so far in this set, this is really a battle between both. Some unforced errors here and there on each side, but definitely a little more equal than the first set.
6th service error against the Cardinal.
Yeah, 7 service errors for Ball State, 6 for Stanford.
One place Stanford's outdoing Ball State is that one's hit deep, and Ball State gets a point on their service. Diggs, 14-7 so far. Stanford's a little bit more hustle. 6-1 in this set. 11-11 in this set, and the only statistics and points that matter. Score. Overhit. And back-to-back points on the serve of Rogers.
Rogers with a lot of firepower on his jump serves, putting a lot of pressure on the Stanford serve receive. You can see they have to stand pretty far back in that serve receive.
Briette. Wow.
I love seeing Nate Clinton get on his route there. He takes the ball. Pretty decent 2 pass to Briette. And gets outside. He's ready for it, chirping for the ball. He scores off the hands and down.
Coach Gossi saying Nate Clinton, he's just a really solid all-around player. Great passer, great server, can hit the ball well, and he's just a glue-type guy, blue-collar attitude. And he's really enjoyed seeing him develop here on the farm. Into the middle, Carrera, 6'8" from SoCal, and that's kill number 4 for him.
And back to Nate Clinton, just really impressed with his style of play and even just the way he carries himself on the court. Only a sophomore. I feel like he plays like he's already a senior. So just really impressive to see how his career is going to continue to develop here at Stanford.
Mr. T. Briette back set on the wrong side of the antenna from Wagner.
I think Wagner was trying to get down the line there, but he saw the Ball State block trying to get right back out to him, and a little mishit on that ball.
Lucky number 13, 13-13 in the second. Briette back set. Wagner this time puts it away.
And I know I can see his eyes. He's seeing Mr. T try to get out to that ball, and he's not going all the way out to the line, but I know Moses Wagner knows that if he tries to swing hard and down, Mr. T's way over. He's going to get a big block on that one. So that was a really, really good and really smart swing from him there, kind of making that correction after that last hitting error.
Tanashi Endovasheva. Call him Mr. T for Tanashi, his first name. I'm sure his teammates prefer to call him that as well.
And he's 6'6".
Oh, Stanford kept that one up.
Oh, wow. I'm giving them that ball.
They might replay that one.
A replay.
That was a wild dig. Stanford is digging the heck out of the ball. 8 digs in the set.
Really, really good Stanford defense on that side. Very scrappy as well.
Ignacio Brito to serve. 14 serving 13.
Really impressive, perfect pass from Pitlack on Ball State. That was a lot of firepower on that serve from Brito, and I talked about it a little bit in the last set. Been really impressed with seeing him being able to come in and put a lot of firepower on those serves. He had a little bit of a tough time with that in their games last week, and seeing John Costi still really believe in him and push him, and he's only continuing to improve each time he comes on the court for Stanford.
Roger Alid, 6'6" opposite from Barbados. Server. Aline, nice pass there. And into the middle. Savitsky Lin. That's the first lead for Ball State in the set. And they lead 15-14 at the media timeout. We'll be back after. Stanford Cardinal lead the Ball State Cardinals in the second set. Ball State took match number 1 of this 2-match series, 25-22, 26-24, 25-16 yesterday. Cardinals are number 5. The Cardinal are number 13 in the preseason polls as we start up this year. Men's volleyball national championship will be in Columbus, Ohio in the Midwest. UCLA, 2-time defending national champion. They were picked to win the MPSF.
Aline with the big topspin jump serve. But that one goes out. Put a lot of firepower on his last serve, but Stanford libero Porter able to handle that one. Really impressed today with Stanford serve receive. Ball State has really been putting a ton of pressure on them, and they've done a really great job on the serve receive and their communication with Briette and setting his pins.
Briette the server. Aline the finisher, and he's getting fired up.
Yeah, a little bit of that frustration from Aline there because him and Machado just could not find their rhythm in the first set.
Aline, a computer and information technology major. He wants to be a pro volleyball player and a systems analyst. Do you know what a systems analyst does?
I do not, actually, but honestly, I really like that he has 2 different options, just in case he decides not to go play pro or, for whatever reason that career doesn't work out, he has something else also waiting for him.
It's like, I feel like it's maybe like they look at your system, like your computer system. I don't. Does Lance know?
Should we just call it tech?
Yeah, tech. Smart person stuff. I just know how to talk in a microphone sometimes. Briette over cross court, and that one's going to end up here.
With us.
Point to Ball State. Yeah, our
point for Stanford on that.
Our point Stanford. I got confused, Ark.
Once again, really impressed with Stanford serve receive and their digs against Ball State.
So we lost our producer, Lance. He had to go get the ball.
That's a free ball.
Wagner with the psych.
And you see a little bit of that miscommunication there from Mr. T and Aline as they're both trying to play defense in that number 1 and number 6 spot. They try to do that crossover on Wagner. For anyone who plays volleyball, they know what I'm talking about. If you don't, just keep your eye on the defense back there. But you can see that was just a really tough angle for either of them to try to get to.
This one might come up to us again. No, it's saved from right below us by a mystery player. It was Roger just ran under. Teo from the back line.
Great pipe and approach from Teo. That was a huge swing from him for Stanford. You can see they're all really hyped about that one. They're very happy that that play was executed well.
It's kind of when they turn the lights on, this is when it's go time in terms of the pressure and all that type of things.
Yeah. And that's something that you have to continue to work on as a team, making sure when you're in these moments, what can we do to mitigate those errors? What can we do to make sure that we're executing, doing everything we've talked about during, watching film, setting up our defense.
Savitsky Linds from the middle. 1918 Ball State. What do you think is going to be the difference as we close out this pivotal second set?
A little bit of what I was just saying earlier, just working on the things that you've talked about. What has been working so far for Stanford? Being really, really good on the pins and the blocking with their defense there. That is what they've done so far in this match in the last two sets to hold Ball State back. And I know I was talking about their defense, but let's just go right back to offense there. That connection between Briette and Mandelbaum, that huge swing out of the middle from them has been working so well so far in this match.
Kai Schmidt, service specialist, back for Stanford. This is a big part of this match. And it's just match number 2 for the Cardinal, but this is a chance to have the number 5 team in the country at home. Schmidt with an ace. He had 2 last night as a service specialist, and he's got 1 tonight.
Comes in, scoring a huge point for Stanford there. What I just talked about, making those big plays, taking those risks as you get to the 20s here.
Coach Gosti said he brings major energy off the bench.
Ooh, and saved that one. Oh, big
what a swing.
Machado, I'm super impressed with him as a setter coming in for that ball. He's like, I'm not even going to try to set anyone on this. Even if I can, I'm taking the swing this time.
And no block set up, and Machado, it is a huge difference between 21-19 and 20-20 in a set.
And for those watching, Machado as a setter is 6'6" himself. He's pretty much the same height as most of his pin hitters here. So not only can he set, he can hit as well, as we just saw.
Clinton puts it down. Moses Wagner, again, this is a big match for both these teams. Ball State a chance to improve their RPI with this win. And again, it's the first weekend of the year for Stanford, but to have a chance to have the number 5 team in the country at home and pick up a big win would be big for this team's confidence. That's hit wide. Rogers just mishit it.
He was really trying to go for that one. A little tight to the net, though. He sees he has the block in front of him. He can't take that ball cross court.
Team, they lead here in the second, 22-20. Nye Crittenton, Tim Swartz, your broadcasters tonight here from Burnham Pavilion on the campus of Stanford University. It's an ace. That just snuck in for Moses Wagner.
We just talked about crunch time, and I could kind of see on Wagner's face after he hit that serve, it wasn't the exact touch he wanted on the ball. You can kind of see that from the way that it landed, but he's happy that it landed in, and he gets an ace on that one. 23-20 now in the second set.
Huge point. Ball State desperately needs the side out. Cardinal will get a swing at it. Briette tried to go over on 2. Pitlack for Rogers. Great pass from the libero.
Rogers keeping his team in this. He's been playing very well for Ball State so far in this match. He's been trying to come back. He had a little bit of a rough set last time. He's 5 kills, 4 errors.
Briette into the middle.
Gets that ball up.
Great save. Porter that time had to set the libero and the point to Ball State. And I think Coach Costi will probably call his final timeout here of the set. 23-22. Ball State has cut it to 1 in the seconds.
Yeah, and Ball State triple blocking Nate Clinton there on that one, as you said.
Cracks at set point. Ball State.
Rogers already has 3 aces so far. Perfect pass.
From Snooey. Wagner down the line.
And Pitlack gives a thumbs up to his blockers there, telling them they were in a good spot on the block for the defense. I think even libero Pitlack wasn't ready for that one, and he puts his hand out and touches that ball as it lands in.
Nate Clinton to serve. Stanford looking to go up 2-0. They'll get 2 cracks here at set point. Good serve. Pitlack, what a pass. Machado sets left. Cardinal won't get a crack at it. Oh, it hit the antenna as that one went off of a head, and that almost made SportsCenter top 10.
Nate Clinton trying to save that ball for a second. I was going to see if that was going to fly up here to where we are, that save, but Mr. T there, they're trying to get him more involved in the offense in this set here at the end.
Xander Pink, deep. Oh, man, that is a mistake for Ball State. And the Cardinal are up 2-0.
What a tough way to end that for Pink coming in a little cold off of the bench to try to make something happen, and unfortunately misses that one. But it's one of those situations where, you do rely on your teammates and you want them to make that ball at the same time.
Volleyball player, which I'm sure you can hear on the air. She's breaking it down scientifically for us. So glad to have her with us tonight here on Big Ten Plus.
I appreciate you, Tim.
We'll be on Big Ten Plus all year. That one's roofed. If you're watching at home and you followed us throughout the years, obviously Stanford was in the Pac-12. Now they're in the ACC. And the MPSF made a deal with the Big Ten to broadcast these sports. So if you're at home, it was not a typo, and we'll be here for all of our home matches this year here on Big Ten Plus.
I just want to talk about that last block that Ball State just got on Nate Clinton from Stanford. That's, how they ended those last few points in the last set. And you can kind of see Clinton, he's like, oh my God, I have to hit against 3 now. They're camping out on him right now and trying to make a big change on their side, starting off here early in the third set. 6
kills, 273 hitting for Clinton. Wagner with 12 leaves everybody in terms of kills. 6 for Aline, pardon me. That's the leader for Ball State.
Ball State trying to get back in rhythm here. Big swing from Mr. T out of the back row on that. You can see the athleticism as he flies over that 10-foot line, hitting like he is in the front row on that ball.
Inovacheva, he had 10 kills last night, just 2 through the first 2 sets. That's kill number 3. 2 serving 1 for Rogers.
Tough serve from Rogers there. That lands short.
Aline, the man from Bridgetown, Barbados, puts it away. First team All-MIVA last year. Transferred from Quincy to Ball State.
Led his team in kills at Quincy before coming over to Ball State.
He led the league in points scored, so he was a huge transfer portal pickup for Ball State. That's put away.
Huge swing from Wagner there between that Ball State block. No one was recovering that ball.
Nate Clinton back to serve. Coach Costi was just raving about his all-around game. Didn't play last year for the Cardinal. Now he's starting outside hitter. Alex Rotman, one of Stanford's talented players, unavailable this weekend for the Cardinal. Coach Costi hoping to get him back. And Stanford goes to Austin, Texas next week for Penn State, Ohio State. They'll have the weekend after that off and the whole week off. There's a few weeks off for Stanford during the year. And Coach Costi was telling me with this team being so young, it's really important to have weeks where you can train and work on things versus just play every week.
Yeah, and as you said, working with a team that you have no fifth years and seniors, over the last couple of years. I think we talked about how the team was reinstated and they weren't able to have a class that was coming in for Stanford, and that was able to stay. They lost a lot of guys, too, to the transfer portal during that time.
Next time Stanford will be at home will be January 31st, February 1st. It'll be UC Irvine And it will be a pretty special moment as John Costy's son, Cameron, is a freshman at UC Irvine. So to have Cameron up here facing off with his dad, that would be pretty cool to tune in on Big Ten Plus in 3 weeks. Eileen, nice serve. Ooh. Machado again.
He has a big arm, and he's just, a setter, but like I said earlier, 6'6", so he's got the height. He has the shoulder, and he's been taking rips at the ball when he can. It's been very impressive to watch.
He's from Brazil. He started playing volleyball when he was 4.
Great all-around player in Machado for Ball State.
Eileen, nice pass from Porter, and the Cardinal put it away with Snooey.
You can see Snooey asking for that ball a little bit higher from his setter on that one, but they've had a pretty decent connection so far after the last set.
Speaking of setters, here's Briette.
Great pass there from Mr. T. That was a textbook play from Ball State on that one.
Put away by Savitsky Lind in the middle. I mean, to get to the middles, you have to have a great serve receive.
Yeah. And honestly, there are obviously some setters that know how to push middles, even with not the best serve receive. But when you get a pass like that, you really want to get them involved. And Machado getting that set to Savitsky Lind, and he now has 5 kills, hitting 667 on the team. He started out a little bit slower. He wasn't really getting the ball much in those first 2 sets. And I think toward the middle and the end of the last set, Machado started feeding him much more.
Snooey's 6th kill and an ace. Teo heating it up.
And that's his first ace so far on the match. Stanford with 5 aces.
Cardinals serving it well. East Bay native. Oh, Pitlack did well to pass it there. Rogers is triple blocked.
Mandelbaum gets a hand on that one. Really smart play there from Stanford. They said, okay, you're going to triple block us, we're going to triple block you. Rogers really frustrated on that one. He really wanted that swing, was not expecting all 3 of them to go up against him in that play.
Snooey, another great serve. Cardinal get a chance. Back set. Wagner puts it away.
Stanford regaining control of this set right now. We can see the energy from their side, and something I would say from the whole match so far, Stanford has just seemed very cool, calm, and collected. They seem confident. Doesn't matter what's happening. And Ball State, you can kind of see it on their faces. A little bit more frustration on their side, misconnection and miscommunication. And even when they've been in it and they're battling, there's just a different energy right now. I think Stanford's just been doing a better job managing the other side.
Rogers just snuck that one through and down. Rogers 6 kills, but he's only hitting 50, 0.50. Versus last night when he hit 409. Still, Ball State's got that hitting percentage of 258 after they hit negative in the first set. Briette. Snooey couldn't get a ton on it. Back pass. Eileen. And into the net went Ball State.
It's tough there, but Machado with a beautiful back set to Eileen. And that ball just a little inside. Eileen tries to come in and take a swing at that one. And he didn't put as much heat on that one. I think he knew Stanford's block was there. And, did get a good touch, actually. And sometimes you want to do that. You hit the ball, force your team, you can recover and try to go at it again. Unfortunately, that net violation took away that chance. But Ball State comes back with that set to Rogers, and he takes a big swing cross court for the point.
As Nia mentioned, he trained USA Collegiate National Team and National Beach Volleyball Team, the training center.
Yeah, a lot of skill and experience from Rogers, the junior outside hitter on Ball State.
Machado back to serve. Second team All-MIVA last year. Honorable mention All-American. Was 5th in the MIVA in terms of assists. That's deep.
And only a sophomore for this Ball State team. So you've got both teams with pretty young guys on the floor. But Machado, you can see in the way he runs the team and how he talks to them, and he's able to run his offense. A lot of experience and really plays. I think I talked about this earlier with another player, but he's also someone else that plays as if he's a senior.
10-10 and 11-10, pardon me, now in the third.
As we said earlier about Machado coming from Brazil, playing volleyball since he was really young, 4 years old, I think you mentioned.
Certain people, like Naya, pick it up a little bit later in life. Clinton, whew, he pounded that one.
That sophomore outside hitter from Pleasanton. Had an opening there. Ball State did not get out on the block. Clinton takes advantage.
11-11, jump serve. Machado sets the middle. Uh-oh, that was a miscue. And that was the first time tonight that we've seen Will Patterson, 6'10" middle from Loveland, Ohio.
And that was a really, really tough play for him, coming in a little bit cold and, you know, the setter getting pushed all the way back and trying to force that set to him back into the middle. A little bit of tough timing on that part.
It's like they brought him in to replace Buchholz as Aline puts it away. What is that like when you don't play for a couple of sets and all of a sudden you're out there?
You know, it can be tough. I mean, you just have to get used to it. You have to be ready, and you have to really kind of, you know, refer back to your training and what you know and what you're comfortable with doing. And just try to get in rhythm.
Now I paused there for a moment because I thought you were going to say that never happened to me. I played every single set. I never got benched in my life. Savitsky Lynn puts it away.
Those early times in my career had some moments, you know, freshman year where kind of came in, and I played in most games at freshman year, but I wasn't always starting, and it would always be a little bit nerve-wracking, but you just kind of get used to it. You get prepared. You get ready that you're going to have to go in at some point.
That's why you see everybody, anytime there's a stoppage, all the subs out there trying to stay warm. Oh, double block. Savitsky Lynn and Aline reject the Cardinal.
And that's a big block there for Teo Snooey. Trying to find the floor, but it'd be hard to do when you have two players in front of you that are 6'6".
And it's time Teo with the tip.
Mana Carrera. Back into serve, and he's had a pretty good serve so far.
Mr. T, deep, hit it fat.
No touch on the block, so it's Stanford's point.
Stanford's very excited about this freshman class, and Mana Carrera kind of highlights it. He's a real physical, outstanding freshman from Mission Viejo. Two-time the South Coast League MVP in high schools. That's deep, which is a very good league down in SoCal. Media timeout. Stanford trails 15-14 in the third, but they're up 0-0. Opening weekend here at Burnham.
Aline took a lot off of that serve coming out of the timeout. I think he just wanted to make sure that one was in. No one likes to miss a serve coming out of that.
How tough is it to serve after the timeout?
It's always a hard one because you want to come back and, you know, bring a lot of firepower to the other team. And so it's always that kind of conversation of, you know, where does your coaches want you to serve, what zone? And then, you know, you obviously want to go for it. But no one wants to make a service error, right? So it's interesting to see how different players make that decision when they come back in. You know, how much am I going to put on? How much am I going to put off? Do I want to just kind of get the play going? That's kind of what he did in that one.
Aline took a little bit off of that one. Here's the Canadian freshman outside hitter, Will Basilio, part of the Volleyball Canada system. from Ontario. Polifed, Ontario, to be exact. Teo, wow! How did he do that?
Briette making that last-minute call there to try to get that ball to Teo, and he sees he can't really take a big swing on that one. It came pretty quick. He has two blockers right in front of him, and that tip, it's like a set tip just off the hands and down. Really impressive that he was able to make that play.
It's like a split-second decision he has to make.
Absolutely.
And Teo with a nice serve, punched down by Mandelbaum.
You see the frustration on Pitlack, number 11, Ball State's libero. He's been struggling a little bit, even in the last set too, at some points with the serve receive here. Stanford's been putting a lot of pressure on that serve receive, and most people know liberos, they do run the backcourt for their team at the net, and they've been able to hold Ball State off with their offense. You can see their hitters are not hitting the same as they were last night, having a lot more errors, not really able to find the floor because of what Stanford has been able to do and how quickly they've been able to change going into today's match.
Wagner hammered that one.
And that ball flying all the way back across the court, across the gym actually, into the fans and the stands on the opposite side.
Some former Stanford volleyball players, like Luke Turner, might have caught that one. Stanford was swept last night, but it was a really tight sweep. Had a deuce set. There's a big swing from the Cardinals. It was a first set, Stanford led 17-12 at one point. The third set was 25-16. It was 15-15 before Ball State won 10 and 11 points. So Stanford, even though they got swept last night, were more than competitive. They were in and leading deep into some of those sets.
Now we see Stanford has been able to make the necessary changes to lead Ball State today and turn it completely around. Like you said, it's the opposite now.
I said it before, but the first thing when I saw John Costi here at Burnham, and I said, hey, what do you think? And he said, we have to play volleyball after 20. And Stanford has done that tonight.
Absolutely. In the last set, they were able to capitalize right away. And even with Ball State coming back and battling back with them in that one, they stayed ahead. And it's that grit at the end.
19-18. Stanford leading after Brito put it into the net. And for Ball State, they have to win a point on their serve here. Stanford could side out the set. There's a few points left. Obviously, that's deep. But if you're Stanford, you think if you can get a point here on the serve of Wagner, you feel very, very good.
Yeah, Machado pretty disappointed in himself at that serve. He knew how important that was to keep them close to Stanford in this right now.
Jump serve. Good serve. Machado into the middle. There. It wasn't hit perfectly by Patterson, but it still counts the same.
Pretty good pass on that tough serve from Stanford, from Wagner. Pitlack, the libero on Ball State, gets that to a setter. They're able to get the middle blocker in the offense. We kind of talked a little bit about that. They had some up and down moments with getting their middles involved on Ball State, just not really getting the timing down. On the Stanford team, I haven't seen anyone look like they're exhausted. Their energy levels has been very, very high this entire match so far, and they seem really focused and in it.
Here's the big-time server, Patrick Rogers, into the net. Great timeout, John Costi.
Rogers disappointed. Stanford really happy on that one. Rogers has a very tough serve. I know Ball State was hoping he would come out swinging with that one.
John Costi's been part of both national championships here at Stanford, 97, 2010. But he was telling me before the season that, in 92, Stanford played Pepperdine in the final and lost that match. And that match has still stuck with him all these years later.
Little setter takes that ball. They're able to save that out of the net from that block on a lean. What a great tip from Teo. Right over the block. He forces that into their hands. You see Machado, he read it. That was a great read by Machado. Unfortunately, his teammates get their hand on that tip.
Yeah, Machado, I think some blood might have come out there or some perspiration because he fell down kind of a little bit awkwardly, and I think maybe one of his teammates ran into him, and he's a little bit slow. Timeout, Ball State.
Yeah, that was just a tough one, and that sometimes happens. Like
this 2-match series, and they're getting into it. Stanford looking for the sweep. Great serve from Clinton. And put away in the middle by the substitute Patterson. 22-20. It's pay time here in Burnham.
And that was a huge swing there from Patterson, the sophomore middle blocker from Ohio. He's 6'10". You can see that on that swing. He's so high up over the net and the block.
Here's him serving. Wagner didn't get everything behind it. And, yep, Machado went over. That is a monster point for Stanford.
And you see Machado talking to the ref about that call. He does not agree on him calling that ball. He's going to go back and talk to the ref now on that play.
Yeah, Kent Kincaid is the up official. Ray Mink is the down official. Kent Kincaid made the call. Machado went down to Ray Mink, the down official, talked to him for a moment and said, no, that was his call. So 23-20, Stanford, we now brought in one of their subs. Kai Schmidt's got 3 aces off the bench for Stanford in match number 2. Another great serve from Schmidt. Back set, Aline.
Ooh.
Dug out of system here. Aline, big swing. Tight set. Oh, what a one-handed set by Machado, and Aline puts it away.
And they get that one. That was a little bit of a tough play there. You can see the frustration on Machado right now, especially after that last play, but he makes it work, and his connection with Aline has been slowly improving over the match so far. Yesterday, that was on fire. Today, cooled off a lot. Struggled a little bit in the first set, but trying to bring it together here at the end.
And something about a one-handed set just looks so cool. Aline. Nice first pass by Clinton. Back set. Wagner hit off of him out of play.
And that was a tough one. He did swing and try to use the block on that one, but he kind of ran into the ball there when he landed. You could see it on his face. He was so close for that ball going out of bounds and getting that point from Stanford. Ball State trying to make their way.
13 Stanford, 2-0, and 23-22 here in the third. Ball State fighting to keep this match alive. Back to serve, Rajay Aline. 6'6" opposite from Barbados. He's going to go for it. Ooh, Stanford bench was yelling out. That's miss set, and the point to Ball State, 23-23.
Just a tough ball there. That pass from Nate Clinton, like you said, Aline, we saw it before he even put his hand, before he even touched the ball, that he was going to go for that one coming out of the timeout. And really, really tough pass for Nate Clinton. Briette, setter for Stanford, trying to get there. Can't get his feet underneath that ball to set it.
The Stanford bench was also yelling out. It might have gotten to Clinton's head. That's deep. That's way out. And here is match point number 1 of the weekend for Stanford. And a nice rotation here as Briette's back to serve.
We'll see if Stanford can close this out. Got to prepare their defense now. You can see Ball State serve receive all the way at the back line.
Machado.
Decent pass.
Aline.
Oh, off the head of Mandelbaum there.
We got overtime. We got bonus volleyball in the third.
You know, I kind of had a feeling this was possible. It's going to happen. They were going to just keep trading points back and forth. I was almost going to say, oh, maybe they'll get to 27 in this set. Neither one of them wants to let this one go.
Basilio did not start this match, but he started here in the third. Great serve. And the double block. Savitsky Lind and the setter, Machado, in the middle.
And both Machado, 6'6" setter, Savitsky Lind, 6'7". Huge block there in front of Wagner, hitting on the outside for Stanford. And this is tough.
Basilio, great serve. Stanford needs this
pass.
point. Chance for Ball State to take the set. Machado in. Rogers got it. Wagner tip. Kept alive. Point of the match. Back set. Snooey. Couldn't put it away.
What a scrappy play right now on both teams.
Wagner. Big point for the Cardinal.
Wagner with a huge swing down the line for Stanford, both teams. That had to be starting to shake a little bit in my boots. It was so back and forth. A lot of scrappy plays from both teams there. They're really battling at the end here. But a great choice from Briette to set Wagner all the way out.
It's almost like a free mini timeout here for Ball State as they clean up the perspiration that was on the floor. Teo Snui, 25-25. Stanford had a set match point, and a set point. It was fought off by Ball State. Stanford just fought off a Ball State set point. Great serve. Stanford a chance to swing here. Briette backs it and untouched.
That was tough. That ball so close to the net. Briette trying to get his hands underneath that ball to get it back to Wagner, but just a little bit of a tough set. Wagner not able to get on top of the ball there. But so far in this match, that was one more error for him, but he's got 17 kills, hitting .379 on the match so far.
Teo from the pipe.
Great set and great decision there from Briette to get him back involved in the offense. Back row pipe has been working really, really well for them so far in this match. And I actually think so far each time Briette has set him on the pipe, he has scored.
Teo Snui, 11 kills, 17 for Wagner.
He's hitting 400 right now in the match.
Stanford a chance to swing here. Tough set. Wagner off the block, and the Cardinal have match point number 2.
What a great swing, and like how he moves out of the way of that ball, falling backwards to make sure it doesn't hit him like it did earlier in the set. He's able to force a point on that one. Great swing and great set. I liked Teo calling him off and taking that ball.
Mandelbaum
Wagner
sets it in. Double block! And it's on the wrong side of the net for the Cardinal.
Nate Clinton trying to get up on that ball. Arms just off the net, and Aline able to sneak that one through. You can see the little bit of frustration there.
Interesting from Ball State here and their head coach, Donan Cruz. He's gone with Basilio and benched normally their leading scorer, Inovichova. In the middle, blocked by Ball State, and now they'll get a set point.
Even with that change there with 6'10" Patterson in the middle, that was a huge block there from Ball State. And so far,